Okay, I just thought I'd send out a video on the review sheet. I didn't start with the first one, so I thought the first ones were pretty basic. What I did was I started with number 7. I think you should be able to get the first 6, especially when I gave you the first formula for distance formula. So the only formulas that you're going to have on the board are midpoint, circle, distance formula, and a parabola. One more time. Midpoint, circle, distance, and parabola. Okay, number 7. 9x to the second, y to the second, all of this raised to the second, and 3xy raised to the negative 2. So you take everything in here and raise it to the second, which is 81x to the fourth, y to the fourth. This little bugger right here tells you you need a fraction in the problem, and all that gets flipped. Negative flips things. 3 to the second is 9, x to the second, y to the second. So all of this goes into the denominator and becomes a positive 2. So 3 squared is 9. Then you simplify this. 9 goes into 1, 9. 9 goes into 81, 9. X squared is 1, y squared is a 1. These both turn to 2's. Final answer, 9x squared, y squared. Number 8, square root of 18x to the fourth. You break 18 down to 3 times 3 times 2. I know this is kind of fast, but at least you get a little bit of review on how to do every problem. You can always stop this and go a little bit slower if I'm going too fast. The 3's can come out. The 2 needs to stay inside because he doesn't have a pair. There are 4 x's, so 2 of them get to come out. You have none left inside. Final answer. Number 9. The cube root of 64 over the square root of 100. Again, this is a pretty fast problem. Now you're looking for 3 of something. And 64 is made up of a 4 and a 4 and a 4. 3 4's make 64. So I can circle all 3 of them and take 1 out. This is the square root of 100, so you're looking for 2 of the same thing. And there are 2 10s. So I can take 1 of those out, which ends up being 2 6. Number 10. All they want you to do is factor this, and I think you should know how to do this. X plus 5 minus 2. Number 11. Bring the x's over to one side. You get 5x equals 20. X equals 4. That should be pretty fast, number 11. Number 12, you need to cross multiply. 6x minus 3 equals a negative 5x plus 30 when you cross multiply. After you cross multiply, I'm going to bring this over to here, which makes 11x equals 33. So x equals 30. 13. X squared plus 2x plus 17 equals 0. And obviously there are no factors of 17 that will give you 2 in the middle. So I'm going to do this by completing the square. I like completing the square. You can have used the quadratic formula. You would have gotten the same answer. When you complete the square, you bring the 17 over to the right-hand side. You take half of 2. Half of 2 is 1, and you square it. That's what you add to both sides of your problem. If I did it right, I made a perfect factors, x plus 1 to the second power equals a negative 16. And then I square root, I get x plus 1 equals, don't forget your plus or minus. Hopefully you know what the square root of a negative 16 is. It makes an imaginary number. It makes 4i. So x is equal to a negative 1 plus or minus 4i. Final answer. Number 14. They give you the formula all you're going to do is plug values in. So you're just going to read the problem and find what they're looking for. They give you the area, you put 72 in that spot. They give you the height, you put 12 in that spot. They give you 12 is one of the, you need to find the C or the B. I don't care which one you do. So the first thing I would probably do is get rid of the 2. That's the thing I probably would do. And multiply both sides by 2, which makes 72 and 72 is 144. Yeah. Equals 12. 12 plus 6. I would probably get rid of the 2 first. Now we're going to divide both sides by 12. So I get 12 equals 12 plus C. Okay, I did something wrong. Let me start this again. I think I read it wrong. I did. Start again. Sorry. I knew something was wrong. This isn't a 12. I read it twice. This is a 7 right there. Sorry. So this is 144 equals 12 parentheses 7 plus C. Divide both sides by 12. I get 12 equals 7 plus C. So C must equal 5. And don't forget to label your answers on the test. You'll be looking to see if you did 5 inches. For number 15. The next one, number 15. Just add 6 and 9 together and add the negative 3i and the negative 7i together. Whoops. I don't know why I just did that. The 15 minus 10i for number 16. 17. Good. That's supposed to be 16. Number 17. X minus 4 divided by x equals 3. I'm going to multiply everything by x. Why am I multiplying everything by x? So I no longer have a fraction in the denominator. I don't have a denominator. X times x is x squared. X times a negative 4x. This guy right here and this guy right here cancel each other out. So you're left with a negative 4 equals, the most important thing is to also multiply the 3 by x. Don't forget to do this side. Some of you are going to forget to do it. Bring everything over to one side. Everybody see what I did? I brought everything over to one side so I can factor it. X equals 4. X equals a negative 1. 2 answers. Again, just multiply everything by x. Don't forget to do the right-hand side also. Number 18. X minus 3 equals 2 radical x minus 3. Separate it. Once you get this separated, you can square both sides. And I would leave the 2 here when you square both sides. What does x minus 3 look like? It looks like x squared minus 6x plus 9 when you square that side. 2 squared is 4. So when you square this, you're just left with an x minus 3. Again, bring everything over to one side. We're going to have a negative 10x because this ends up being 4x. When you bring it over, it makes negative 10x. This makes a negative 12, but when you bring the negative 12 over, it's going to make it a positive 12, which makes it a positive 21. X minus 7, x minus 3 equals 0. X equals 7, x equals 3. You should be able to keep both of them. Yep. Number 19. The midpoint formula is to the right. You should be able to do that. You add the x's together, which makes 24 divided by 2. Add the y's together, that makes 18 divided by 2. Final answer, 12 and 9. Number 20. There isn't much to number 20. All you do is you put it into this formula that I'm going to give to you. X minus 3 to the second plus y plus 2 to the second equals 9. All you do is substitute in. There's nothing to number 20. 21, y equals mx plus b. In place of x, you put 3. In place of y, you put 5. And we're going to find b, but we still have to find m. So I'm going to go over here and do 2x minus y equals 6. So 2x minus 6 equals y. If it's parallel to it, I would have put a 2 in there. But since it's perpendicular to it, I got to put a negative 1 half in there instead. So 5 equals a negative 3 halves plus b. 5 equals a negative 1.5 plus b. So b must equal 6.5. All they want you to do is find an equation. So final answer, y equals negative 1 half x, because it needs to be perpendicular to it, and it is, plus 6.5. No, you do not have to write it like the book wrote it. I just got those answers on the back of the book. You can write it as y equals mx plus b. 22. You're supposed to find the domain of 1 plus the square root of 4x minus 20. All you have to remember to do is to take the part underneath the radical and set it greater than 0. Because anything under a radical needs to be positive or you can't do the problem. It ends up being imaginary. So you need to take the part underneath the radical and say that it needs to be greater than 0. Or equal to, sorry. So 4x needs to be greater than or equal to 0. So x needs to be greater than or equal to 5. X needs to be greater than or equal to 5. You're supposed to write this in interval notation. Put a bracket because you can include 5 to infinity. So let's see if it works. Any number between 5 and infinity should work in here. Let's just pick a number like 7. Is 7 between 5 and infinity? Does 4 times 7, 28? 28 take away 20. Can you figure out the square root of 8? Yes. But what happens if we plug the number in like 3, which is not in here? Let's see what happens when you plug 3 into there. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 take away 20 is the square root of a negative 8. And you can't take the square root of a negative number. So, final answer. Again, all you do on the test is to take the part underneath the radical and set it greater than or equal to 0. I forgot the equal part. So, if you're watching this video, you might want to put a line underneath it. And don't forget your bracket. 23. Even. If these are opposite, but the y values are the same. Odd. If both of them are opposites of each other, then it's odd. Neither. 3 and 4, you get weird answers. They don't even have opposites. So, on the test, if they give you 5 over 1 plus x squared, you're just going to come up with 2 sets of points. I'm going to use when x is 2. When x is 2, I get 4, and 1 plus 4 is 5, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. So I've got 2 and 1. But now, I'm going to plug in the opposite of 2 in there. When I plug an opposite of 2 in there, I also get 1. So what happens if my x's are opposites? I should do this for this one too. Make sure your x's are opposites. That's what you're checking for. X's are opposite every time. So make sure your x's are opposite. If your y's are the same, it's even. If your y's are opposites, it's odd. And if y's are different, it's neither. And now I know that it's even because they're exactly the same. Again, These two numbers are always opposite. You notice on all of them, they're always opposite. But what happens if you get the same for your y values, it's even. Opposites is odd. Totally different is either. 24. This formula will be on the test, or on the board, I mean. You're just going to fill in everything. The y is 0. The a is what we're trying to find. The x is given, that's 4. The h is given, that's 3 squared. And the k is given. So everything's given except the a. And then you're going to solve. I'm going to add 1. So I got 1 equals a parentheses. 4 minus 3 is 1 squared. 1a equals 1. So my final answer is y equals, in place of a1, x minus, in place of h, negative 3 squared, in place of k, negative 1. Final answer. 25. I need to find g of f of x. So everything in f of x needs to go in for the x in your g of x. So this is g of x. This is f of x. All of this needs to go into that x. So 3 parentheses x squared plus 1 plus 2. Final answer, 3x squared plus 5. Let me do the distributive property. Okay, whoop, one more problem, 26. Circle, or not circle, distance formula. 2 minus 5 goes here. You square it. This will be on the board. 3 minus 0 squared. You're going to get negative 3 squared is 9. 3 squared is 9. The square root of 18. This is made up of 3 times 3 times 2. 3 squared is 12. That will be on the board. Okay, that's the end of part 1 for your final. Look for another video for part 2.